Being here. I'm Clare Cooley. This is the Creativity Show. It's all about creativity. We all have creativity within us. It is natural for it to flow through us. We see that in children. It's our right, duty, joy to keep it going, that childlike wonder throughout our lives. It's not always easy because there's a lot of criticalness in this world. There's a lot of judgment, fear-based myopia, I call it. And so flowing freely can be hard for us to quiet our critical voice. And all of us have heard unkind things in our lives if we've lived long enough and been out among human beings. So those things can cut us deeply, and we have to heal those wounds and let it go and step into the joy of exploring our own imaginations and the healing of expressing our emotions through creativity and the life-enhancing beauty of creativity. And that is something we can get better and better at by doing it. So that's what the Creativity Show is all about. That's why I'm doing these. First, every time I do one of these virtual visits, live streams, I'm facing my fear of speaking up, my fear of, what do I know? My fear of the critical voices that have come from the outside and had an impact on me, like you preach, that hurt, but now it doesn't anymore because I understand that one person, pardon me? Right, one person said it as a compliment, and another person said it not as a compliment. So when people are not supporting us, not encouraging us, we have to always remember it's about them, not us. Why are they not encouraging us? And unless we're doing something dangerous, harmful to ourselves or others, shouldn't people, especially people who say they're friends, just encourage us? Yes, they should. And why don't they? Well, because they've been discouraged. They feel a wounded sense of self-worth, and they want to pass that pain on to others. If we are free, we will sometimes, their reflection in our calm surface can be unpleasant for them to look at. So they try to disturb it. Now, I'm going to start today with reading a few things I just wrote because this is fun for me. It's fulfilling for me to share my prose about, well, the things I've learned in life that I think could have value to others, to you, hopefully. And then we're going to move to me painting in front of the camera, excuse me, working on this quadriptych, these four, well, they're image, not landscape, scrolls that I made, and I made what? Portrait, that's what I meant to say. Portrait, not landscape, orientation, and they're going to represent winter, spring, summer, and fall, just like these four kimonos. Winter, spring, summer, and fall. And those kimonos will be worn during the performance piece. I made those from my stencils. And Bodhi will tell you how to get access to the stencils. Go ahead and do that.
let me say it loud so they can hear me through your microphone. I'm going to put the link up right here in the video. So her Patreon is the best place to get her stencil designs. You get them in SVGs, which you can cut at home on your stencil cutter of choice, or you can print them out and cut them by hand. And so ClareCooley.com, patreon.com/Clare Cooley.
Great.
That is the place to go.
And there's 10 flowers, and very soon we're going to have help in making them into SVGs so we can keep them coming out at a faster pace. Patreon members pay no additional fee. They just are going to keep getting stencils they can print out if they choose for the minimal monthly membership fee. If you want, anybody can buy any number of them, either off of Patreon or
ClareCooley.com/shop.
the website that Bodhi, my son, who I'm so grateful, is adding his completely different skill set to our work, and I'm so grateful that he asked me to work with him and named us Mother Son Productions, and we're doing these. I do 2 virtual visits a week. He does 2 live streams a week. We both have a long video come out once a week. We often have shorts, and so there's a lot going on, and we're going to get the SVG help soon so we can have those coming out quicker. There's 10 flowers out now, and there will be, everything you see here was created with stencils, so eventually they'll all be out. I have, I think, close to 300 designs, and I'm going to keep going with it, so there's a lot. Well, let's start with a little writing that I'm going to read before I start painting. Here we go. Add your worth to the world. Give your uniqueness to the human collective. Every perspective we add widens the world's vision. And that's what I stand for. That's why I've decided to write these little prose pieces. And as those of you who've tuned in before know, I like them to make beautiful shapes. And I will share the collection at some point. There's also about 300 of these, and I just about every morning I wake up with something I'm thinking about that begins one of these prose poems, and then by sleep time, by the time I get off my feet in the late afternoon, early evening, I turn it into prose, and then so every day I'm adding to these. So here's another one. Any hardship we get through without allowing it to break us can become a badge of honor, a source of hard-won wisdom. Using it to help others through their challenges gives it a higher purpose, allowing us to have no regrets, even about regrettable things we endured. And if that's preaching, I'm preaching. And I feel good about it because we've all got things to share with each other and the world, and let us speak up and share them. And I know that it's hard, and this next one explains a little bit about why. The system has been broken, worshiping money, might, aggression, greed. The world is confused by sexism, ageism, racism, and elitism. We would be better following compassion, inclusivity, creativity. Together, we can fix the system by accepting we are all connected and equal. And in this sexist world that's been sexist a long time, women often take their hurt, their understandable frustration, fear out on each other. Most women understand that men have all these advantages. They get paid more for the same work. They make more of the laws. They have more might, money, aggression. And so most women are too smart or frightened to take their aggression out or even speak up about it, their sadness, their resentment, their fear about the inequity in the world out on men. Too good to take it out on kids, so who's left? Other women. I do not participate in that. Since early in life, I decided gossip was toxic for me and everyone else. But I've been told, even when I was, 20, that women don't trust me because I don't gossip. Well, I said to that woman who said that to me, I'm shocked because I'm the one you should trust. I won't talk about you when you leave the room. And she laughed and we became dear friends. But I'm still dealing with that. We all are. That women often bond by gossiping. It's socially acceptable in a lot of circles to complain and be negative. She said people don't trust you because you're always talking positive. Well, I can complain. I got lots of negativity that I've had to deal with in my life, and I could just talk about that too, to be socially acceptable, but it brings me down instead of elevates me. So I prefer focusing, even if the negativity is this much and the positivity is this much, I want to focus on that. And because I've done that, I practice that, the positivity keeps expanding and the negativity keeps shrinking. So what we focus on expands. I think that's enough reading for today, even though there's another one, because I feel like it's time to create and go to the part of the brain. Let me show you this. What we're going to do, here's a test of different lines made by the Sumi ink that Bodhi's going to show you. The dish down here on, that's Sumi ink. Instead of ever throwing anything away, I try to waste nothing if I can, and recreate, recycle, and so the Sumi ink that I've mixed in the Suzuri goes into that little dish. And now this is the quadriptych of the Four Seasons. And I've cut these pieces of paper, and they're held down by little stones, so that before I start painting, I can see the flow of the shapes of winter, spring, with it. Winter is air, spring is water, summer is earth, autumn is fire. So I can see the flow without putting any pencil or pigment onto the scrolls. So now you want to get a camera that's over the work.
I do.
And I'm going to start by, I always have test sheets next to what I'm working on, so you make sure that there's the right amount of pigment and water.
This is going to take me a minute.
That's fine, I can talk about this. The right viscosity, the right amount of water, so that you can see with some of these tests, the very watery brush will spread. And so you want to make sure that you have the right viscosity, right amount of pigment, the right tone, the right amount of flow. So I'm going to start with a very soft line that is basically the skyline of the mountains and hills. And then that's all right. And then I'm going to move to, there's things that are closer in the landscape, and they will be a deeper, this is going to be black and white. It's all done with Sumi ink thus far. I may choose to add color. I may choose to even add stencils, an evergreen branch, flowers, grasses, a maple leaf to add the red, yellow, green, blue of the four seasons. I may even choose to add the copper, gold, silver, oh no, I'm sorry, bronze, silver for the four seasons. But I take it one step at a time. And doing this for the first time, I have not tried Sumi ink painting on this material, this giclée material, on these scroll frames I made a couple days ago. And we showed in our last live stream the process of making them. I haven't done this before. So to be free to create, to understand, it is my belief that we don't have to worry about failing, because there is no failure if we're learning. If we're enjoying the process, we can't fail because we're getting something beautiful out of it, which is enjoying the process. I'm kind of excited because I haven't done this before, so I know I'm going to learn new things. And I didn't practice before now because I wanted to share with you that we can just go for it. And obviously we don't want to waste time and materials. So start with what I call my philosophy of don't lose the light. So that can be a light touch, light pigments. I'm going to move my a little closer. So we're going to start very light.
One final adjustment here.
That is fine. And the closer things are to us in the view, as the viewer of this art, the deeper the black will be. The further the mountains or whatever we're looking at is away, the less of the Sumi ink will be in the pigment. So that is one thing we want to think about. Winter, snow. Summer, it's melting. That's why there's a waterfall. I mean, spring, it's melting, a waterfall. Summer, it will be all golden fields. And fall, the element is fire, and there will be some lightning that will hit one of the maple trees and start a little fire. So I did a test, which I showed, and I have it hanging in the window there that maybe Bodhi will take the camera and show you. The test up in the window. Can you point the camera at that? Will it show it?
Yeah, I'll do that in a sec.
And I turned it around because this is going to be black and white. So turning it around up there in the window means it's backwards, but it's more monochromatic than the other side that has the blue, green, yellow, and red for the four seasons. So there's 4 seasons, 4 elements, 4 primary colors, and there will be, as you see in the kimonos, 4 creatures and 4 botanicals for each of the seasons. And the final performance piece will have these scrolls, not this size, but floor to ceiling, the kimonos worn while the spoken word that then turns into some kind of music, that then the final act will be some kind of movement, dance, hopefully on roller skates, because I just love to be on roller skates. Okay, are we ready?
Sure, but for the live stream, yeah, I might need to make an adjustment depending on where you're going to start.
I'm going to start here and go across.
Let's see if I can adjust it real quick to get that totally in the frame. Show me with your hand again.
Here.
I'm going to just have to move the camera a little bit. There you go.
Okay, so then I'm going to use my test paper to make sure I don't have too much water, because this is going to be very delicate. Are we ready?
Yeah.
So we're okay.
There you go. That looks good.
Okay.
Does that work for you physically?
I pretty much have to turn toward it. So can you be on the other side of the table a little bit?
I won't be able to see you painting except for with the overhead because there's a table in the way.
But you could split screen it and show the painting with that?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, because I need to be.
Should we move this table and then then there's no reason.
Sure.
Why you're obscured behind it.
All right, so let us. This is what happens when you're a production studio with two people. Okay, so we're going to go that way.
Okay, there's it. How are you going to get there?
I'm not altogether sure.
Up a bit more. You can set it down if you need to.
I'm going to set it down on this side.
Okay.
And then I'm going to step over.
That's good enough. Now it's out of the way of the camera, but let's get it maybe alongside the couch here.
Right, yes. Okay.
And then one last thing. Can you lift?
What?
I'm going to get this cord out from under the cinema.
Oh, sorry. I didn't understand. Now I'm going to, move across as I go. You ready?
Looks like we're capturing it all.
Okay. I'm doing these intermittent, not solid lines because snow. So there's places that the snow will keep us from seeing the rock material of the mountain. Okay, then we're going to take our little rock off. And now we're going to do a little bit of water. This is the closer mountain, so it comes in front. This is so as you can see, I'm going putting very little pigment. Slow as you go. Now these dowels are not even, so this is actually going to start up a little higher. Yes.
Movie maker said, looks lovely.
Thank you. That's the side of the waterfall. Yeah.
TGL on YouTube said, ooh, very cool scrolls. Love the paper.
Thank you. Yes, this incredibly simple and fast, fun, frugal way of creating a painting surface that then you can hang instead of trying to find framing or spending a lot of money on framing, which is really easy to do. And if you have the money, that's fine. And framing is an art form too. But I love finding simple solutions for any of the projects I want to do. So coming up with this design adaptation of the ancient scroll painting design that uses this giclée paper. It's really fabric on one side and kind of a paper. It's very perfect for this. It's made to absorb pigments. I'm doing this so that I know where the hill. Very light over there. Now, just to give me a little perspective, I'm going to put a little tiny tree up here. A little bigger here. And even bigger here. And then, because this is the closer mountain, we're going to add a little more pigment to that. And we want this to actually come all the way over. Now we're going to spread these out a little bit. Okay, so there's the ways we can create depth, perspective is, like I said, the closer stuff has more black in it when we're just using monochromatic like this, and obviously bigger. So we're going to put some black rock in this. Closest mountain. And then when we go in the mountains further back, it's got to be grayer, because that's the way the eye would see it. It would have less pigment. It's amazing how little can impart that it's a mountain range, and how, let's put some rock next to the waterfall here. And it'll be even blacker on the lower part of the waterfall. Let's put a nice black stone there and here. And the human brain is an organizing machine, a living machine that likes to organize and order. So we have to take that into consideration, under consideration when we're creating, and realize that in nature there's a beautiful randomness. So we have to just allow ourselves to, well, flow with the randomness of nature. So we're just sticking in a couple stones. Another thing we can do is use white acrylic if we get something too too dark. We can lighten it up with acrylic over it. It's happening. Okay, let's get us a little tree in here. And let's get a little more pigment for a closer tree. And a teeny little tree up here. So we've decided the tree line is about this far up. Yeah.
So sorry I missed these guys. From Ann Kofelt on Facebook. Thank you, Clare Cooley. Enjoyed seeing you and listening to your calming good nature. I too have a marvelous son, and after all these years, it's lovely to see you. I'll be back. Cheers.
Thank you, Anne. What a wonderful voice from the past. Really fabulous to reconnect with you.
I'll reply a heart on your behalf for you right now, and then you can send her all that again. You can reply in detail later.
Fabulous.
And then also on Facebook, Sue Spencer said, great video, amazed by your creativity and also ability and agility on the floor.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't feel bad that it's taken me to 71 to do this project that I imagined at 18. I'm just grateful that I have the health, the inspiration to do it, and I love representing that we shouldn't count ourselves out, especially women, like society may want us to do. Because when we have the most to share is when we should say the most. And that's in our later years. So share your wisdom. The world needs it. Thank you, Sue. So this tree we're putting behind this closer ridge. But this closer ridge is going to have flowers on it later, not evergreen trees. Okay, now we're going to go for some grayer rock formations because these mountains are further away. Let's see. I had a feeling that was a little darker than I wanted it to be, so I started over here. Now it's going to be lighter. Okay, we want to. Okay, so we're going to put a couple little trees in the summer up on the ridge. Oh, there's a little hair sticking out, so let's get that off there.
Get that off of there.
All right, how dare you? Okay. Now I have one behind the ridge. Just the top showing. And then over here, we're going to have a maple tree. Now, because this isn't on the plastic all the way, I'm going to put it on this side. Okay, that's fine. So I love listening to TED Talks and things like that. And one of the things that is the best for the human brain to not get dementia or Alzheimer's or any of that is to keep learning. Obviously, eating and sleeping and exercise, all that matters. But keeping learning. So I like to keep trying stuff I've never done before. Not just so I don't get dementia, but because it's fun. And it also happens to be stepping into the creative flow is happiness increasing. And happiness doesn't come from money or fame or sex appeal or any of that stuff that advertisement likes to tell us it does. It comes from what we give and the sense of purpose from our work and our activities and our connections. And nothing gives me more joy than sharing what people in my 20s asked me to teach, which is that creativity exists in all of us. It flows through all of us if we let it. And I called my curriculum that I wrote and taught to every grade level in my 20s when people asked me to, dancing into the arts, because moving is good for our bodies, it's good for our brains. It's why at 7, one of the reasons I knew that school didn't really work for me, because I need to move to be happy. And I decided, being happy, if it doesn't hurt anyone else, is a great thing to be. And so, sitting in a chair in school didn't work for me. And the teacher was cruel. So between those two things, I gave myself permission to spend time in nature and observing it, and it's become my muse. And I love to represent it in my art to give us more, give it a voice. And it's our home. It's where we all come from. It's where we all go back to. And it's our only home, nature, this planet. So living in harmony with it is possible. And it's what we need to do, not just a good idea because it's lovely, but it's what we need to do to address climate change, degradation of environments, species, preserving the variety of species. The healthier an environment is, the more diversity there is in it, so science tells us. So I'm spreading some rock formations with a little water. And the waterfall gets a little flow to it with the water. And I'm not going to go too far before I get up and step back from this. I am going to wait to do the maple branch on fall and flowers in here. I'm given these big rock cropping some gray-black tones. Make them look more like big outcropping of rock, which we see more of in spring when the snow melts, water flows, than we're going to see in winter, which is still snow-covered ground. So I'm going for bigger. Rock outcroppings in this spring. Okay, now I'm going to get up and step back.
Ding!
Yes.
Joni B said, coming along very nicely.
Thank you, thank you. Well, one of the things I have learned over the years is, exciting as it is to, do it fast, I keep it slow so that I don't overdo, and so that I can get some perspective. I'm going to step back now and give it a rest, give myself a perspective break, and come back to it probably for the next live stream. And maybe I will do some between now and then, because I can't help it, because I'm excited, but I will record it so that you'll get to see it. And so I feel like that's good for the day. And I'm happy if hopefully this helps you give yourself permission to explore your creativity, express your imagination, and I move slowly. Slow is good for us. I don't think we can be too peaceful, too calm, and boy, does the world need more calm and peaceful. We don't need people yelling at us. We don't need any more aggression in the world. But you can't have too much peace and calmness. So that's what I stand for. That's what I seek. And that's hopefully what I am sharing. So, Bo, is there anything else you want to share?
For those of you who commented on Facebook, excuse me for missing the comments. But yeah, I think I got everybody now. We're up to date.
Thank you very much for being here, and I really appreciate it. It really feels good to connect with you, and I love sharing this, what usually up until now in my life has been a solitary doing my art. I love sharing that peaceful, serene place that expressing creativity takes me to. I love sharing it with you and hoping it inspires you to find your joyous places, your peaceful places in life, and do them, visit them often, and share them with others. The world needs every one of us to share our unique beauty with the world. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you next Monday at noon, and we'll keep this, we'll keep the 4 seasons essence of everything I call this performance piece going, and we'll share the the prose and the music it turns into, and the movement, the choreographed movement based on the prose and the sound music that it turns into. We'll share the whole process with you. So thanks for being here. Thanks for letting me face my fear about bringing my solitude out to the world. I'm going to tell one little story that just came into my head, my heart. I asked my mother, she lived with me, like my son lives with me, up until the end. And I asked her as an adult when she was living with me, what was your greatest fear when I was a child and of me, about me? And she said that you would join a monastery on a mountaintop and we would never hear from you again. So it is my nature to be contemplative. And I feel like I'm sharing that mountaintop peaceful place through these virtual visits. And I love that. And it makes me very, very happy to be able to share that with you. All right. So thank you for being here. If you've enjoyed this and you're not yet a subscriber, I love to see the subscribers ticking up. I do what I do because it feels right, but I do love and getting connection to you. I do want to share this resource of creativity with as many as possible. So tell a friend, like, comment, subscribe. All of that really helps spread the word of how each of us can increase the peace in our own lives, heal, and make life a little better for those around us and the world. So until Monday, let's sign off here and say, stay creative. Thank you for being here.